This is Tom Cloud with this week's Precious Metals Market Update. We've had quite a bit of activity since last Tuesday when I last filmed last week's Precious Metals Market Update. First news is that Ecuador, and I mentioned it last week and I want to expand on it, Ecuador did basically confiscate the 401ks and pension plans of their country and move them into direct government securities. Now, we continue to see this going on worldwide, and Americans, for some reason, don't think it's possible that it could happen here. But the Supreme Court last week, after we had this session, has passed something that is hard to believe, that leads the way to the confiscation of over $19.4 trillion of IRAs, 401ks, and different assets where they would take over the management. If any of you have not seen this in writing, if you'll email me, I'll be happy to send you one of the articles about this and how scary it really is to think that we've got now to where issues about government taking private assets has made it to the Supreme Court. So give us an email at tgcloud@bellsouth.net, and we will send you forward you the information about this. But it's very scary. And then especially we saw Austria repatriate their gold this week from London, which we continue to see. We saw Venezuela do it. We've seen Germany do it. We're seeing all these countries where gold is stored either in London or the U.S. wanting their gold back. They don't want somebody holding on to it. And of course, we know the U.S. and the U.S. Federal Reserve does not have the gold because they have not been able to deliver it to the people that own it and are giving it to them in piecemeal, which just tells you that it's not there. Which leads me to the next important. Bloomberg, highly respected financial news network, reported last week that there's a growing momentum for a gold-backed yuan, and basically they would wipe out the debt of the world by fixing it to gold. Now, Bloomberg says gold could be 60 to 64,000 US dollars an ounce, but it would put financial system on firm ground from that day forward. And when you think about it, as crazy as that number sounds, it's really nothing because only a few of us would profit from it, because something like 95 or 6% of the world doesn't even own gold in their portfolio. So for a few of us to make a profits of 50 times would be nothing, because it would mean absolutely nothing, because it would be so few people that would be impacted by it. So there's another article we'd be happy to send you if you didn't see it on Bloomberg, but we're actually looking. And then at the end of last week, things really got testy as a meeting was set for the secret confiscation of fiscal cash held in London among many countries that want to go to a cashless society. Many of us as Christians have great concern about a cashless society, the mark of the beast, and these kind of issues that, quite frankly, I never thought I would be talking about in my lifetime. But it is there, and it is something not only we got to look at it prophetically as well as what is unfolding right in our very eyes. So this is a very hard thing to believe with all this going on. And then Holter and Sinclair have a new partnership, and Holter's been a financial writer for a long time, very highly respected, but he's joined James Sinclair, and they came out with an emergency on Friday telling everybody to liquidate all their stocks and bonds, and they gave 9 steps to the importance of it. Now, these are people that may be a little bit early, and I'm sure they are a little bit early, but they're talking about the consequences of being holding stocks and bonds when we get into the Shemitah in September, October. We get into the October 20th date when the Chinese yuan joins the IMF, and sometime between now and then, China will release the amount of tonnage of gold they're holding that could send gold skyrocketing if those come in with a higher number than the U.S. which still claims we have 8,100 tons. And China, the last time they reported to the world in 2009, only had 1,080 tons. But we know for sure, just because the records coming from Hong Kong into mainland China, that they're going to have at least 5,000 tons and probably more tons than we do. Then it will bring up the question, where do they buy this gold? Is it U.S. gold that was leased and we have money for the gold, but we don't have the gold? All these questions will be answered in the year of our Lord 2015. So it's time you answer the questions. It's time you take a hard look at where do you want to be. Do you want to be in the U.S. dollar that absolutely is going to falter? I don't care what anybody tells you. I will argue the U.S. dollar will see substantial losses over the next 18 months. And every time the dollar goes down, gold goes up a multiple of the percentage that the dollar goes down. So you need to be doing your homework, answering these tough questions, getting the percentage of money you want in other currencies. And if you didn't see my webinar with Jerry on FTM Daily, go back and look at it. It's on FTM Daily's website. If you need to get in touch with us, you can reach us at 800-247-2812. That's 800-247-2812. If you're not getting my email blast, you can sign up for those on ftmdaily.com under the Precious Metals button. We don't share your email with anyone. And if you have precious metals IRAs and you're concerned about confiscation, you need to move it into precious metals, self-directed precious metals IRA, and we can help you walk through that. If you have any questions on that, also let us know. With this week's Precious Metals Market Update, this is Tom Cloud signing out.